The headline reads, Greater Good, the show for the morbidly curious. Published Wednesday, July 17th, 2019. Introducing Greater Good, the show for the morbidly curious. Countless game shows on television focus on entertainment and prizes. But what if there was a game show that not only entertains but also positively impacts society? Greater Good is a new television game show that features 3 contestants who come from different walks of life but have one thing in common: they no longer want to live. Sad, right? From struggling with mental illness to fighting off physical disabilities, each contestant has a heart-wrenching story to tell. The stories are raw and emotional, portraying the injustices some humans face daily. Lucky for them, Mendax Productions found a way to create beauty out of pain. At the end of each episode, viewers are invited to vote for the contestant whose story resonated with them the most. But this isn't just any ordinary vote. Attached to each vote is an amount of money that the voter pays. The more money a voter donates, the stronger their vote. This means that viewers have the power to not only vote for their favorite contestant, but also make a difference. The contestant with the most votes at the end of the episode wins. But unlike other game shows, the prize money isn't awarded to the winner. Instead, the money is donated to the winner's estate or charity of their choice under one condition. The winner's estate or charity will receive the cash prize under the condition that the winner takes their own life on live television. That's right, the contestants who no longer wish to live not only found a way out, but are heading out granting the wishes of their loved ones and those in need. Talk about a life of suffering paid off and paid in full. Download the Mendax Plus app to vote from home and tune into Mendax Channel 6 on Monday nights at 8/7 Central to witness all-time lows become all-time highs. From a blog posted on the social media site MediaFlow. New game show reinvents television. Last night, Mendax Productions unveiled its first official episode of Greater Good, and America has been buzzing since the closing credits. This show's unique concept of combining entertainment with philanthropy was a breath of fresh air, and it quickly gained attention from viewers and industry professionals alike. The episode's impact was immediate. If you tuned in, you'd know exactly why. Greater Good Show is trending across social media platforms as influencers post their positive reactions and boast about their voter donations. The show's positive impact on society and its contestants has caught the eyes of advertisers and sponsors who are beginning to align their brands with the socially responsible program. The success of the first episode paved the way for Greater Good to become a hit show with its record-breaking viewership and long waitlist of fans willing to line up at the studio to witness the spectacle live. Greater Good's success proves that entertainment and philanthropy go hand in hand, and it set a new standard for what viewers expect from their TV shows. A post from Mendax on MediaFlow. It's the phrase we can't seem to get enough of. Greater Good host Dorothy Meadows opens up with the game show's chilling tagline, "Death is in the building." The phrase has officially left the Mendax building in the form of apparel, accessories, posters, and even bumper stickers. With some of the country's largest store chains picking up Mendax's latest Greater Good merchandise, you can spot death anywhere at any time. Greater Good Show. A post from Mendax on MediaFlow. The graphic reads, "Now casting." Are you someone who's been feeling down more often than not? Feeling like you're far past the breaking point? Is suicide officially no longer a matter of if, but when? Then Greater Good is the show for you. The caption reads, Greater Good, the new game show America is raving about, is opening its doors to cast contestants for future episodes. This is the chance of a lifetime for the hopeless to end their lives in order to better the lives of others. To apply, simply visit the Mendax website or download the app and fill out the online application form. You'll be asked to provide basic information about yourself and your story, as well as a short video explaining why you should be selected as a contestant. With the show making an impact on the television industry, here's your chance to take part. Give your life meaning by taking it for a good greater than yourself. Apply today for the game show that is officially to die for. Greater Good Show. Chapter 5. Joseph. I have a criminal living in my guest house. It's funny. No, it's fucked up. You know what? It's both. Over the past 2 weeks, time has ticked slower than usual, and it's for good reason. I've been knee-deep in this case with Nicky, the man who held me at gunpoint, who I now know is also the man I've been letting live in my guest house. God, the universe, or whatever controls fate has to be messing with me. It's never been easy working with criminals. Most of the time, they're illiterate, uneducated assholes. And still, I would prefer to work with them over stubborn Nicky Williams. Sooner or later, you're gonna have to tell me more about you. I whispered to Nikki from across the kitchen table. There's gotta be more to your story than robbing a gas station for extra cash. I cocked my head back and looked down to the front door, then checked my watch to see it's almost noon. Stevie's at school and Ava's running errands, so I only have a couple more hours to pry any information I can out of my tenant and now client. Nikki's stubborn face holds no emotion, his thick arms crossed over his wide chest. We've met a handful of times in my kitchen since the first time we met in county jail, and still, I know nothing about the guy besides the one fact he shared with me. The gun he robbed the gas station with was fake. Seeing the fake gun in the property and evidence unit last week lent me some peace of mind, but the more information I can get from Nikki, the stronger our case. It was a fake gun, Nikki mutters. What more do you want me to tell you? I roll my eyes. You gotta tell me more about you. I'm on your damn side, you know. You're treating me like a judge. I'm not gonna use anything against you. I'm trying to help your case. Nikki folds his lips between his teeth, looking out the kitchen window toward his house. I tap my fingertips over the notepad, which has been blank for 2 weeks now. I ain't a criminal, he mutters. You sure about that? Because I'm not sure, and I can't be sure until you tell me who you are. I can't help but feel stupid for not knowing more about the guy living in my own backyard. Nikki sighs, reaching into his pocket, and pulls out a tightly wound wad of cash. My mouth salivates the moment he slaps it on the tabletop. He gestures to the cash with his eyes. For you to stop asking questions. My chest fills with air. Only a small portion of what's on the table will fix the front door. Half would settle my debt with Ava. The full amount could be used to fix up the house. I don't want your filthy money. I need your filthy money. Nikki's eyes narrow. You take my filthy money once a month to pay your mortgage. Why is it any different now? Good point. It's different because I know it's filthy now. So clean it. I stab the cash with my pen and push it toward Nikki. Is this what you stole from the gas station? If you knew how much I ended up stealing from the gas station, my case would be a joke. Nikki laughs, itching his goatee. Didn't even make $100 from that trip. He frowns when he sees me take my first note. Stole less than $100. See, this is progress. I smile up at him. Now I have 2 facts. The gun was fake and you didn't steal more than $100. Nikki bites his lip, fighting the fact that I just cracked him a bit. Look, Nikki, we don't have to be friends. Frankly, I don't want to be your friend. Not because you're a criminal, but because having you around wouldn't make me the best example for my kid. Nikki's face softens. I tap the cash with my pen as I continue. I'm gonna be real honest with you. I need this money, so I'm gonna accept it, and more for representing you. Now, I know you don't want to go to prison, so you're gonna tell me who you are and why you robbed a gas station in broad daylight. Help me help you. Talk to me. Nikki's face flattens as he stands and makes his way to the back door. Upon swinging it open, he turns back to me. I ain't gonna tell you why. I'll show you why. He continues out the door, and it takes me a second to realize that that's my cue to follow him. I drop my pen on the notepad and run after him. The bottoms of his brand new sneakers echo against the cracked concrete steps leading down to my backyard. I haven't landscaped since, well, I've never landscaped, so the weeds are growing through the cracks in the asphalt, the grass forming bumps between mounds of dirt, making up most of the yard. I'm only a few steps behind Nikki when he knocks on the guest house door. He lives alone. Why is he knocking on? The door slowly opens, a narrow sliver of light illuminating the eyes behind it. Nikki whispers something through the crack between the wall and door. The almond-shaped eyes flick to me as I now stand a few feet behind Nikki. Her brows are arched, framing her innocent eyes. She looks up at Nikki, nods, then opens the door. My jaw drops at the sight of the curve in her abdomen bulging from under her shirt. She's timid, awaiting my response. Judging from the fear in her expression, she assumes I'll be upset that Nikki's been hiding her in a house that's already too small for one person alone. I try to hide that I'm upset, not because Nikki's a criminal hiding out of my guest house, and not because the deal is supposed to be 1 tenant, not 2. I'm upset because now I have more than Stevie and Ava to provide for. Even though it's the last thing I should do, I inherently make these 2 my responsibility. Damn it, Joseph. When is she due? I mutter, my eyes fixated on her stomach. Few months, Nikki replies. The woman places a gentle palm over her belly. Are you gonna kick us out? Nikki flashes me a look. For once, it's not one of the stubborn looks he's been dishing me the past 2 weeks. It's a look of genuine concern. He knows I have the right to kick them out. I should kick them out and find a new tenant who actually follows my rules. I chew on my bottom lip. I'm not gonna kick you out. My answer is what they want to hear, or at least I think it is. It doesn't faze them. It's as if they think I'm lying to their faces. I tapped Nikki's shoulder with the back of my hand. I'm not gonna kick you out, but I need you to pay me for this entire case up front. I also need you to talk to me, or this, I wiggled my finger between the two of them in the house, or this isn't gonna work. To my surprise, Nikki cracks what might actually be a smile. I know very little about the guy besides the fact that he's so large he can crush me with his pinky. I also know he doesn't smile often, so I'll count whatever he just did with his face as progress. I'll talk, Nikki says. He'll talk, I shout, throwing my hands up in the air. Thank the heavens. My eyes meet the woman, a pretty smile decorating her face. You got a name? Tanya. Well, Tanya, don't you worry. I'm gonna clear Nikki's name, pay my nanny, then renovate my house and yours. I grab a small portion of Nikki's massive shoulder. Is that alright with you? Nikki lets out a laugh. Yeah. Yeah, what? Yeah, that's alright with me. You should talk more. You got a nice voice. I give his shoulder a squeeze. Now let's get to work before my kid gets home from school. When Nikki and I sit at the kitchen table again, the mood has shifted. Nikki's posture is relaxed, his lower body and back overpowering his seat. Before we get into it, you got any beer? He asks. Wish I could tell you I do, I say to my notepad as I scribble down another note. Nikki drinks during the day. He scrunches his face. What are you writing? I haven't said nothing yet. It's not a big deal. Big enough for you to write it down? I lift the notepad and shrug. I just wrote that you drink during the day, that's all. You judging me? He scoffs, slapping his palms on the table that nearly cracks down the middle. I exhale, suppressing the wave of frustration consuming my head. I'm not judging you, but the judge will. As your lawyer, I'm taking notes on you. The notes are going to include your everyday habits, your motives, anything I think will help your case. Now, will you let me do my damn job? Nikki closes his eyes and nods. Sorry, he sighs. When I'm asked questions, it's usually because people are trying to prove I'm guilty. We lock eyes, and I lightly pound my fist against the table with each word that follows. I'm proving you're innocent. Nikki nods. All right. Ask a question. I itch a scruff on my chin with my pen. I notice you have a lengthy criminal record made up of smaller crimes. This is your first robbery? Nikki glares at me. The fuck you want to know that for? He barks. For Pete's sake. I exhale, burying my face in my palms. I'm about to give up when I hear a snort. I spread my fingers to see Nikki chuckling. I'm just playing with you. He playfully slaps my arm. It's my first robbery. I did time a while ago for dealing, and I've had my hand slapped a few times. He adds casually. Hey, what do you say we both ask questions? That way this doesn't feel like some kind of interrogation. I'm starting to wish I didn't need this money as badly as I do. Go for it, I mutter as I continue taking notes. Why don't you have beer in your house? I'm sober. How long you been sober? In one swift motion, I pull out the gold coin from my pocket and flick it across the table. Nikki's caught by surprise but still snatches it out of midair. He studies the coin, its gold finish reflecting the afternoon sunlight. The coin surface is smooth and polished, the number 5 slightly raised over the phrase, "One day at a time." Damn, he whispers, dragging his thumb over the intricate design. 5 years sober, huh? And counting. You got a drinking problem? He gently slides the coin to the center of the table. I don't have a drinking problem. I place my palm over the coin and pull it into my grasp. I have a problem because of drinking. Nikki watches me weave the coin effortlessly between my fingers. In the blink of an eye, I clap my hands together and reveal my empty palms. I wiggle my fingers, my eyes wide open. Nikki squints. How did you just... Magic. I reach across the table and pull the coin out from behind his ear. Nikki sticks out his bottom lip and gives me a nod of approval. Little magic tricks are the best way to steer people away from asking about parts of my life I keep to myself. Call it an illusion or a distraction, I can pull someone's attention in any direction I want. I slip the coin back into my pocket and pick up my pen. How old are you? 26. Who gave you that scar on your face? My pen pauses on the paper. I look up, taken by surprise. It's the first time anyone has ever asked me about my scar. It could also be the first time I tell anybody why the scar is there. I point my pen at him. Your questions are more personal than my questions. Nikki shrugs. Question's a question. I'll remember that. I cross my arms. I got into a car accident a while back. It's the truth, just not all of it. When? You ask your question, it's my turn. Nikki smirks. Fair. What do you do for work? I'm an entrepreneur. He lies through his teeth. Is that right? My eyes trailed down to the wad of cash on the table between us, the amount suggesting that the only things Nikki sells are sold illegally. How long have you been an entrepreneur for? My whole life, Nicky answers. He lowers his chin, his body language suggesting that we change the subject. Before I can ask a follow-up question, the sound of fumbling keys comes from the front door. My head jerks left. They're here, I whisper. The chair screeches under Nicky as he stands to his feet. Back door? Back door, I snap, gathering my notes. Take the cash. It's yours, Nicky states, tossing the fistful of cash at my chest. I slip the cash into my pocket. Despite his size, Nicky slips out undetected as Ava shoves the front door open on the third try. You would think that after all this time it'd get easier to open, Ava jokes to Stevie as she rolls him into the entryway. Joseph? I slip my notepad into a nearby drawer. There they are, I greet softly, taking a couple of grocery bags from Ava's hands. You're home early, Stevie says skeptically. I hope that's a good thing. Ava glances at me as we organize the groceries on the kitchen counter. It's usually not good when I'm home during the day. Being home means I have no reason to be at the courthouse or meeting with clients. I flash her a reassuring smile when I feel the cash in my pocket. Today was actually a good day, so we're celebrating tonight. Stevie's eyes twinkle with excitement. Can we order pizza? You got it, I reply with a wink. Stevie claps his hands. Sweet! Can Ava stay for dinner? I raise a brow at Ava. I don't know, can she? Ava blushes. Yes, I would love to stay for dinner. When the pizza arrives, we gather around the kitchen table. The air is filled with the comforting aroma of melting cheese as smooth jazz echoes throughout the room. For the first time in a while, I find peace in the present. Since I slipped Nicky's cash into my pocket, hope is manifested within me. A few weeks ago, I promised Stevie that I would fix everything, and at this rate, I'll be able to follow through on my promise. How was school today? I asked between bites. I haven't heard any mention of Mikey the Dragon for a couple weeks now. Stevie holds up a finger as he takes a bite bigger than he can swallow. I feel like I've been a shitty father for not asking this question sooner, but I couldn't help it. My nose has been buried in my laptop, going through Nicky's criminal record and trying to form a case. I suppose a part of me assumed that no news about Stevie's bully is good news. School is school. Stevie shrugs upon swallowing his food. Everyone has been talking about some new TV show called Greater Good. Greater Good? What's it about? Ava asks. I don't really know, Stevie says, lifting a string of cheese from the slice on his plate. All I know is that it's not for kids, but some kids' parents let them watch, and those kids get all the attention now. I let out a laugh. I remember being in middle school and the struggle that came from doing whatever it took to fit in. All these kids navigating the world, seeking attention from peers they will most likely never see again when they get older. Not much has changed since I was Stevie's age. Back then, whichever kid had the most laid-back parents were destined to be the coolest. Stevie looks toward the unplugged TV on the opposite side of the living room. Can we watch it? Just one episode. I bite my lip, considering it for a moment. Letting Stevie watch the show these kids are raving about may get him the attention he needs right now. I imagine Mikey and all the other kids swarming around Stevie, praising him for something as silly as watching a show they're too young to watch. I imagine them asking to come over, wanting to spend time with Stevie. I imagine them seeing how amazing of a kid Stevie is, and I realize all I've ever wanted is for Stevie to be appreciated by others the way I appreciate him. My gaze hovers over to the television on the nightstand, the plug hanging just off the back of the screen. I suddenly remember the headlines, seeing our names and photos light up the screen. The flashing images, the crash, the headlines, the hurt, the pain, the whisper. No, the word leaves my lips the second I escape from my trance. No TV. Stevie's face hardens as he and Ava stare at me from across the table. Why not? He asks, his voice sharp. Why do you even have one if it's always unplugged? He doesn't remember why, and thank God he doesn't. Don't you raise your voice at me, I state. No means no. Stevie purses his lips, then shouts, This is the one chance I have to actually fit in for once. You don't need the damn TV to fit in, Stevie. You're an amazing kid who what? He snaps, his voice cracking. Who can't walk, Dad? I can't do anything any of the other kids do. Nobody talks to me. Nobody looks at me. I can't even stand up for myself when kids push me around. He wipes at the tears under his eyes. All I'm good for is being in front of a screen, and you won't even let me do that. You don't understand. No. Stevie pushes his plate across the table. You don't understand, and you never will. Stevie's words are knives through the heart, pinning me to my chair. He turns and rolls down the hall before disappearing into the bedroom. I'm left wondering whether it's difficult for me to breathe or I've simply lost the will to breathe. I wince at the sound of the door slamming behind him. Jazz continues to play as I'm left treading water in a river of Stevie's pain and my own. It kills me to see him hurt. and it kills me to know that I'm the reason for it all. It's moments like these that serve as a reminder that I don't deserve to live, because Ava places her hand on mine, pulling me from my thoughts. A wave of warmth flutters up my arm, a feeling that has become so foreign. Before I can slip away, she lifts my hand from the table. We stand, and as she slowly guides me to the middle of the living room, I feel as though she's guiding me from the river of pain to a distant shore now in reach. I'm looking down at the top of her head as she gently wraps her arms around me. Almost habitually, my arms make their way around her shoulders until my hands rest firmly on the small of her back. We sway side to side, the music still playing in the background. We sway left, then right, then left. Her heart beats sympathy from her chest into mine, and though I feel I shouldn't, I allow myself to receive it anyway. "I have a lot of respect for you," she says softly. "You have respect for me?" She nods. "I don't know what you've been through, but I know it's more than I could ever imagine. I see it in the way you are with Stevie. You want the world for that boy, which is why you hide it from him." We continue to sway left, then right, then left. "Was I overreacting about not letting him watch that show?" I ask. "I'm sure you have a good reason for keeping that TV unplugged, so I don't see a point in going against what you believe is best for him." I gently dip my forehead to Ava's, and we take each other in with our eyes closed. We sway, becoming one with the moment. I open my eyes to the depth of her gaze and feel her presence pulling at me like gravity. I need more of this woman, and I need it now. Our lips are nearly touching when she releases me. "I should probably get going," she blurts out. "I'm sorry, it's not my place. I shouldn't feel like this. Ava!" She turns, grabs her purse, and makes her way to the front door. "Ava!" I shout. I'm only a few steps behind as she yanks the front door. It doesn't budge. I'm a step away when she yanks a second time. It doesn't budge. She pulls a third, and I catch the edge of the door before she fully opens it. She reluctantly looks up at me as I lift a handful of $100 bills, her share of the money Nikki paid me today. "This belongs to you," I say. Ava's face softens. With both of my hands, I force it into her palms. "Drive safe," I whisper, "and we'll see you tomorrow." "Same time tomorrow morning," she says the way she always does. I smirk. "Same time tomorrow morning." Ava smiles, then takes a few silent steps out the door. With one palm against the plaid wallpaper and the other on the door, I let out a sigh of relief. Though Ava and I came close to kissing, I wasn't ready. Not yet. After cleaning the kitchen table, I pull the needle from the record and do something I never thought I would do. I plug in the TV, then sink into the couch and kick my feet up onto the coffee table. The screen cuts to a broadcast. There's an eerie shift in the room and chills trickle down my spine as I begin flipping through channels. I haven't watched in years, and now here I am, indirectly peer pressured by my 11-year-old son's friends. I stop flipping through channels the second I see the news headline, "Greater Good Winning Recap." I set the remote on the cushion and watch, remembering Stevie talking about how the kids at school are too young to watch his show. The anchorman's smile is painted superficially above his chiseled jawline. His hair is perfectly coiffed to the side, his eyes connecting with me as he talks about the show. As Greater Good's viewership continues to soar since the premiere of its first episode, we're left recapping the highlight of the night. Let's take a look at the winner of this week's episode as he becomes a martyr for a good greater than himself. The screen cuts to what looks like a 70s style game show. The set is made up of a slightly elevated wooden stage with 3 orange chairs evenly spaced, facing the live studio audience. 2 women sit in each of the chairs bordering an empty middle chair as a man stands in the middle of the stage next to the host. I mute the TV and look right, feeling an unsettling presence making itself known on the couch beside me. I'm not watching alone. I unmute the TV and crank up the volume to rid myself of the eerie presence. On the screen, the host takes a few steps away from the man standing on the stage. A crew member dressed in black steps onto the stage as a white noose lowers itself from the ceiling. What the hell? The man allows the crew member to tighten the noose around his neck. As the crew member steps out of the frame, the platform under the man slowly rises. The audience stands, fighting to get a view of what happens next. With everything in me, I try to look away, but I can't. Chills seep into my bones as the presence next to me becomes undeniable. Its invisible weight cloaks me, reminding me that not only is it here, but it hasn't left since we first met. The presence belongs to death, and death is in my living room. The crowd cheers as the rising platform slows to a halt, the man now elevated at least 10 feet above the stage. This man's gonna hang himself on live fucking television. With all my strength, I reach for the remote, but I can't look away. I feel for it with my hand, grazing its edge with my fingertip. Death's grip on me gets tighter, its weight keeping me from standing. Death forces me to watch, its whisper becoming more audible by the second. I fear that what I hear will lead to the end of me, so I try to drown out Death's voice with my own. "It's not my time," I whisper, grinding my teeth. "Not yet." "Dad?" Stevie's voice gives me the strength I need to lunge for the remote and turn off the TV. I look right to see Stevie half awake in his chair. "I can't sleep without a story." I subtly wipe the sweat off my forehead, forcing a smile. "You got it, buddy. I'll be right there." Stevie smiles, then turns out of the room. The second he's out of sight, I make my way across the room and unplug the TV. In the silence and safety of my own home, I'm forced to consider the worst. What I just watched is real, and I fear this is only the beginning.